Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel for a special video. Today, I'm joined by the current FPL world number 11, Chai FPL. Dylan, it's a pleasure to have you on, mate. I can't quite believe that we have someone of your caliber, of your current rank on the channel, but number 11 as it stands in the world. How are you, my friend? And how has the season been so far?
I'm excellent, Jack. I appreciate you guys having me on. So far, so good. I can't complain. And we still have a long stretch to go, but I'm happy with where we are, of course.
I mean, what a season it's been so far, I've got to say. Just having a look back through your game weeks, you started with a game week rank of 6 million, which I found unbelievable to have a start which, you know, is not great, let's be honest. But then in just 5 weeks, you were already at about 2K. Phenomenal start.
Yeah, at the start, I was getting absolutely slated by my mates. And I suppose as the weeks went on, each week I was just showing up and I was showing them and giving them some flack back. And one thing led to another, and we're still in a good place about 20 weeks later. So happy days.
All right, let's have a look at your team, because I think that's what the people want to see. These numbers on screen, like the live ranks, are crazy. Even the total points, I mean, unbelievable. I'm not having a bad season myself, but I'm still 130 points behind you. I mean, that is
mad.
It's insurmountable.
What rank are you?
Ridiculous. I'm about 100K right now. Like, very happy with that.
Good, like, yeah.
It's not bad, not bad at all. But
for sure,
compared to you, it's crazy. Now, what I love about you, and what the people are going to love as well watching this, is that you don't stick to any sort of template. You know, you're not one of those people that necessarily looks at effective ownership. We'll get into that, but your team is a cool team. So just run us through how you've got to this team.
So compared to my game week 1 team, it's kind of mad if you look back. It's fairly similar to the team I have now. It's just
wow.
Yeah, so the likes of Dogi is Paro now. Trent is still there. I think game week 1 I had Johnson, but I have Martinez now, who looks good for Villa. At the start I had Watkins, Alvarez. No, I didn't have Alvarez. Like game week 4 I got Alvarez. I had him quite early. Yeah, over the weeks, like I was fortunate enough through injuries, certain players I was subbing in and they were just doing well. Like hopping on early was the main thing for me. And I'm quite happy with the team now. I wildcard in game week 17, which was fairly similar to my team, but that was kind of perfect with Haaland's injury, because I prefer to have transfers saved up in the bank rather than like wildcard late in game week 20. I feel like people that wildcarded were quite unfortunate.
Yeah, 100%. You got, I mean, like the likes of Mateta in there, like even Pau Torres, a nice pick that we're not seeing in loads of teams. And yeah, Foden as well, captain. I feel like you got really unlucky, to be honest, with how well Salah did. Foden captain, brilliant shout. You went with him over Alvarez, which a lot of people didn't. I mean, obviously more people did have Alvarez than Foden, but to go with Foden and get the reward over an Alvarez, I think it's unlucky that Salah then did as well as he did. When really, did people expect him to get 16 points against Newcastle? I doubt it. But yeah, overall, another really good week. And yeah, let's talk about the team going forward though, because that's what's going to be important. And a man that you mentioned there in Haaland. Now, I can't quite believe I'm about to say this, but is it true you haven't owned him the entire season?
That is very true. Yeah, it's a key part of the success
ridiculous.
so far. Yeah. But I will be looking to get him in. That's the only thing. So it's only a matter of time now.
Okay, so you're coming off of that, but how come that's been the case for so long?
Yeah, no, I suppose starting going into the year, like I just looked at Haaland's price of 14 million and I just felt like I could spread the funds a bit better. You know what I mean? Had a very strong team at the start of the game, and like I had the likes Watkins on the bench, like I said, and I don't know, I just really liked like Trent at the start. He was unfortunate to pick up an injury, but then we moved him on to Trippier, who done really well. So far it's worked out, and I'll be definitely looking to get him in for sure.
Okay, let's have a look at your team for the upcoming game week. Got your team up here on Fantasy Football Hub's My Team tool, so we can have a look at predicted points, the overall team rating, your game week rating as well. And although, you know, it looks okay, but obviously we have these two glaring issues, which is what I want to talk about you most in this video, really. Salah and Son. Now, we've been chatting a little bit, and you said you're not entirely sure yet where you're going to go. Obviously, you mentioned Haaland as well. Just obviously, we're a week away from the next deadline. But you're thinking right now with your team, what are your plans?
So, fortunately, we have 2 free transfers, which I'm quite happy with. I knew I'd need them eventually. But it really depends on if Haaland's going to be in the squad Sunday. I know we just got some news there just before we started this, actually.
Yeah.
I think Sam, was it, that posted about a press conference that Pep done, and he basically said that they need to be more careful with Haaland's bone fracture. But it'll be interesting to see how they line up on, I think Sunday they're playing. That will play a large part on what I do with my transfers, I reckon.
Yeah. So I think he's just said that he's not going to play on Sunday, but then maybe back for the Newcastle. Again, yeah, you're right. It's a long way out, but yeah, Sunday will be the tell, because at that point we'll know. If he's in the squad, for example, that gives us a good indication. If he's not, then yeah, clearly still suffering with that injury. All right, let me give you a scenario. So let's say that we get news that he is fit. You've got Salah and Son to potentially get rid of there, and Haaland to bring in as well. How are you going to manufacture that?
Yeah, so I was planning on, if Haaland is fit, doing Salah down. I'll have to knock Salah down to maybe a Richarlison, I think is the highest I can go, which I'm quite happy with.
Okay.
I really like Richarlison. He's a really good option. And with Son out of the team, he could be on penalties as well. And then obviously upgrade, because I have 3 City assets already. Upgrade Alvarez up to Haaland. The only thing is, like, away to Newcastle is never an easy fixture. And
Mm.
I don't know if I'd go and take a -4 with knocking Son down as well. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it'll really depend, like, on the news. If I get a certainty that he's playing 90 against Newcastle, obviously we won't get that, but I could definitely be swayed to bring him in for a -4 if it comes to it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, that Newcastle game, because I feel like all season Newcastle away has been one of the hardest fixtures. But recently, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe they're a little bit more fallible than we thought. But yeah, nonetheless, if you're not guaranteed the minutes with Haaland, it is going to be tough to. Well, I mean, you have 2 frees, which is good planning, of course. But if you're taking a hit to get him in and then captain him, it is risky. Richarlison, there's the one that you've said that you might be looking at. Obviously, we can see that that would give you just enough in the bank to be able to do those 2 moves. If you had unlimited money for your midfield slots, what would you be looking at? What sort of midfielders would you be looking at? A lot of people are debating between the likes of, Bowen, Foden that you've already got, Palmer that you've already got, Richarlison, even some other ones outside of that. If you could give us like a top 3 of midfielders that you'd look at as replacements for Son and Salah, that would be that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, I really like Bowen, I'd say Foden, and Richarlison's up there. But I think it's really hard to just pick 3. Like, you could go
Yeah.
absolutely anywhere. And as the days go on, my mind is being changed by, like, I don't know, day by day, like, I'm starting to look at more stats and fixtures, and with the news that we got about the blank game weeks, it's changing my perception on it. I know in game week 25, Jota should have a double, but then he blanks in game week 26. Same with the Spurs boys; they have a good chance of blanking in 26. So these are all things that are changing week by week, and it's changing my view. But I'd say, like, there's some good outside shouts, like Pascal Gross, who I really like.
Oof.
They don't, yeah, he's in conversation now, but as I always say, like, he's a limited ceiling, I think, but they have the best fixtures in the league by a long shot, and they don't have a blank or a double. So I mean, you're kind of just dodging a bullet for the future.
Yeah, predicted points look good for Gross, to be fair. Again, a name that, as you said, only 4% owned. Not many people are speaking about him. He always does seem to go under the radar. Even last year when he was doing really well, it was Mitoma and March and McAllister really that were the picks, not Pascal Gross. Could be a great pick. Do you in your, like, general way of playing the game, do you quite like going for differentials instead of the popular players, or does that even come into your sort of thinking at all?
I think for me, like, the most important thing for me is if someone's doing well, just because he's doing well doesn't mean he's going to keep doing well. Like, I'll give
Yeah.
you an example of that, which is the likes of Mbeumo. Like, I've never owned Mbeumo, and obviously he got injured, but like, he was banging in goals every single week, and I was just watching it happen in front of me. But I wanted to fix other holes in my team rather than go on someone that's doing quite well. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's the important thing. Like, with the likes of Watkins, like, he does well every single week. But I have Jesus, and right now he's just not a priority transfer for me yet. Obviously, in the
Okay.
future that might change, but yeah, like, so that's the kind of way I play it, I suppose.
Yeah, he's one I should have mentioned earlier, to be fair. I mean, Jesus, if we're talking about, the YouTube or the Twitter template, he's in no teams and he's getting quite a lot of backlash, in the general sort of football space, I would say, from a lot of, people out there, pundits, just people like you and me, whatever, saying that he can't finish. Arsenal need to be looking to sign a striker in January. Yet he's in your team. Has he been in your team for a while? No, you wildcarded him in.
I kept him through the wildcard, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
I think so, yeah. I think I had him a game week or 2 before that. Now the thing is with Jesus, like, I think he's a good footballer. He gets
Yeah.
chances and he just doesn't tuck them away. I feel like I've been quite unfortunate, if anything, to be honest. Of course, I'm going to say that I own him, so. I know Ali, who won it last year as well. He also owns him, so maybe it's a sign.
Oh, really? Oh, very
Yeah, yeah.
interesting. What do you think? Yeah. I mean, speaking to Ali at the beginning of this season, or actually, I think it was partway through last season. But yeah, it's maybe a little bit similar the way you guys both think. A little bit more sort of maverick than the more boring template managers like me. Maybe that's what you need to do well in this game and actually win it. I mean, yeah, it's all well and good getting, a couple top 10k ranks here and there, but if you actually want to win the game, is that the way of doing it? I'm not entirely sure.
I suppose we'll find out in another 18 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll find out. Now, I do want to talk about your personal stuff, right? You've got a Twitter account now, 15k followers, absolutely cooking. You've also got your own YouTube channel as well. Tell the people about what you can do over there, because obviously this is just one video that we're going to do. But if people want to continue following your journey after this one, where can they find you?
FPL Choi on YouTube and at Choi_FPL on Twitter. Basically, like, I'm trying to push out more content. One thing is that I'll say is the content is only going to get better. It's something I'm definitely new to, so I'm trying my best to improve it every week. And I try taking everyone's feedback. That would be the main thing for my channel. I'll always listen to what you guys say, so I'd appreciate a follow if you're interested, and if not, it's all good.
Yeah, nice words there. Yeah, you can tell that Dylan knows what he's talking about. Obviously, his rank speaks for himself, but also, yeah, that's why I wanted to get Dylan on the channel, just so you can see that it's not all luck when you get up to these sort of ranks. I feel like there's a little bit of a common misconception that maybe back in the day, people that did well would just have sort of random teams that just happen to do really well. But I feel like nowadays, because there are so many players now, obviously, and the level has got to that height, I don't think you can just get there with luck. I think the people at the top really are extremely skillful. But what we're going to look at now, my friend, are your AI recommended transfers. Do you know what this is? Do you use Fantasy Football Hub?
So I use Fantasy Football Hub, but not for this. Usually it's for the price changes, I'm fairly sure. I actually have a friend on Twitter that I met. His name is Spyros. He's shout out to Spyros. He's a AI guy, and I've been like following his team and what his AI is doing, and I think it's in the top 10k, which is fascinating. Like, that's crazy.
Wow. The power of AI is mental. So similarly, Fantasy Football Hub AI has an AI team which is just pretty much based purely on what the AI thinks week to week, the transfers, the captaincy, the order of the bench, for example, and that's doing really well as well, just outside the top 100k. Not at the heights of 10k, but then last year as well had a really, really strong season. I don't know. I think there definitely is a place for AI in fantasy.
It's kind of scary, isn't it?
It is scary. It is scary. It really is. But to be fair, the Hub AI team has had a couple of worse weeks when the rest of people have done really well. But it was doing even better before that. Without further ado then, these are your personalized AI recommended transfers based purely on your team and on the future. Now, I will caveat this with, we don't have the news that we need on Haaland, and as you've mentioned. So the recommendation here isn't to bring in Haaland yet, because his predicted points are still low. They're still at like 4, just because we're not sure if he's going to play or not. So forget about Haaland for now. These are just the recommendations. Salah is being sold for Bowen. Now, Bowen is one that I think the majority of people, or a lot of people anyway, are going to be looking at to bring in for either Salah or Son. What are your thoughts on him? If you could stretch from a Richarlison to him, would you go with a Bowen over Richarlison?
You see, Bowen is definitely a really good shout. Whether I'd go over Richarlison, the only thing that puts me off Richarlison, to be honest, is the blank that he potentially has. If he didn't have that, I would go with Richarlison all day. Just the fact that he's on penalties, and we have decent fixtures as well for the time being while Madison's out. I really like Richarlison as a pick.
Yeah, interesting. So are you looking ahead quite strongly then to the potential 25 double and the 26 blank then?
Yeah, I suppose like this will be a crucial part of the season. Everyone has to go away from the template, moving on Son and Salah. Everyone will kind of branch out into their different ways, and then of course when you're choosing players now, I would say you definitely have to look into the future. I know there's like Liverpool, Chelsea, and Spurs who I'm fairly sure a lot of people have those players are likely to blank in 26, so it's definitely something you have to look at.
And then the next recommendation, as you can probably guess, is to sell Son. Obviously, both Salah and Son will be out for at least a game week, probably a few. The recommendation here is Gordon, which I personally wouldn't look at right now. But Gordon's been good throughout the season. A couple of tougher fixtures, but then the run turns really nice, as you can see on screen for Newcastle, for their attackers. Is Gordon one that you go back to? I don't know if he's been in your team so far this season. What do you think?
Yeah, he's actually not one I've owned this season. He's another good example.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't even considered him, to be honest. I forgot he existed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Gordon, of course. But yeah, I know Newcastle have really good fixtures, but they're in a bit of a slump right now. I don't know if I just go there just yet.
You know what? I agree. I'm gonna click don't recommend. I don't think that Gordon he's in my team. He's in my team, but I don't think he's the best option. So what I've done here instead is I've clicked don't recommend, getting alternative for Gordon, or we're going to do another transfer instead. Now, this is interesting. Mateta is being recommended to be sold here. And Watkins, who, again, a player that you don't own, is being recommended to be brought in for Mateta. I guess strengthening your 8 attackers overall. Talk to me first about how Mateta came into your team, and then your thoughts on Watkins, who you don't own.
So I think that Watkins move would not allow me to get Haaland in the future for sure,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So he wants me to keep playing with Haaland, which is interesting. But
It's
Mateta
worked.
came
It's
in.
worked so well so far, no?
Yeah, so far so good. We can't
Yeah.
complain. But Mateta came in game week 18, I think it was against Sheffield, I'd like to say, and he was just a 1 week punt. Raul Jimenez got red card, who was originally there on my wild card,
Ah, yeah.
so that's why I had to bring in Mateta. And you know what? I think in hindsight, it's actually not that it's worked out. I mean, it's not, but come game week 25, 26, Palace have a really good run of fixture. I think they've got Burnley at home. I think they have to play Sheffield again. I'm not sure about that now, but I think he will have a place to play in my team, just not right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Next week they
100%.
play Sheffield actually. Next game week,
Ooh. And you'd play him, would you, in that fixture? Yeah.
game week 22, I think so. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I guess benching headaches are tough, but with Salah and Son both out, it kind of means that you don't necessarily have to force that move, for a hit
exactly.
to
Yeah.
get both Salah, Son, and then Haaland in as well. I'm kind of thinking similarly with Gordon. Is it worth a hit to bring someone in to not play Gordon? I don't know. I have to wait and see. And obviously news will be important there. But yeah, Watkins. No Watkins on the wild card then.
Yeah, no Watkins on the wild card. I said I'd
Wow.
stick with Jesus.
That is
And
brave. I
that's
respect it.
yeah. That's why I feel like I've been unfortunate with Jesus because obviously Watkins has done fairly well. And Jesus has got chances, man. He just hasn't taken them.
Yeah.
And obviously Arsenal have been poor. I'd say the most interesting thing with my team, like if you look back on it when I wildcarded, is I stuck with the no Arsenal defenders. And since, I mean, they've been fairly poor, which is a great decision that I made. I'm fairly happy with, of course.
It's true. I mean, the guests that we get on regularly on the channel, a couple of them have double Arsenal defense, and it really hasn't worked out that well. But I guess it's just looking for upside in places where a lot of people perhaps wouldn't look for it. I mean, yeah, I would 100% have had an Arsenal defender on wildcard. So what was your decision making there? Why did you decide not to have any?
I just preferred other players over Arsenal. Like, to be honest, I looked at their fixtures and I picked out how many I thought they could concede it. And then I compared it to the likes of the players I got in on my wildcard, which is Porro, Trent. I think it was Pau Torres and Martinez. And I just said like I just prefer these over an Arsenal defender.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I had Saliba when he was doing really well and I actually got rid of him. Like it was like
Wow.
perfect timing, man.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really
really?
good. Yeah.
Wow, that's because he was flavor of the week. Everyone wanted to get him in. His price shot up to what 5.5 or whatever. Yeah, hasn't been doing the business of late.
Now saying that, I brought in James for Saliba, which was unfortunate, but the idea was there, you know
Oh,
what
I don't.
I
That's
mean?
that. I feel like that is James is a pick that just suits you and your style so well. You
For
know the
sure, yeah.
upside's there, low ownership, potential to go even higher up the ranks. Yeah, it's an unlucky one with James, but yeah, as a Chelsea fan, I don't know. Don't know what's going to happen to him in the future. Hope he is finally having an operation. So yeah, I hope he'll be back and playing regularly at some point in the next few months. But we'll have to wait and see on that one.
What do you think of James in terms of his ceiling? I think he's a really high ceiling.
I mean, we've seen it in previous seasons, and a lot of people are saying, yeah, we're not playing with wing backs anymore, which is true. But if you're playing Colwill at sort of left back, but really is an inside left centre back when you have the ball, and James is the one that's allowed to go forward, I don't think it really matters that much. And yeah, I mean, he is our best player by a
I agree.
considerable distance, and it has been for a while. It's just such a shame that he's so kind of
Injury prone, yeah.
yeah, which is tough. But I'm hopeful now, as I said, that yeah, with that operation that he's now finally had, which he should have had a while ago, last summer really, should be back fit and yeah, playing regularly. I say that I don't have too much confidence, to be honest with you. Chilwell and James, man, if they're fit and firing and
Remember
playing
them, man.
together, that's just
you.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, not just from a fantasy perspective, from in real life, but yeah, it's been very, very rare. But we can hope.
For sure.
Okay, Dylan, before we end this, I want you to give me one player that you've got your eye on that isn't in your team right now that you think could be a really, really nice pick over the next few game weeks. I've kind of sprung this question on you, but do you have someone?
Yeah, it's a bit of an obvious one, maybe going into the future, but I'd say Purvis Estupinian looks great. I mean,
Very
I'd
nice.
probably get Estupinian in for Cole maybe. Just with them not having a blank and good fixtures, I think he could be quite good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we know how good he can be, and we know the upside of him. But are you confident with his minutes going forward? Obviously, still coming back from that injury, but he looks like he's obviously back in the team now.
Yeah, I would say so. He's a nice little break before he gets back into the thick of it.
True.
So I think he'd be a good option.
Okay, there we go. Well, guys, if you want more tips and tricks and advice from Dylan, then as I said, make sure to follow him over on Twitter and follow his YouTube channel. Both will be linked in the description down below. If you want to take advantage of Fantasy Football Hub's AI tools, recommended transfers, the My Team tool, etc., as we showed with Dylan's team in this video, then the link to sign up is down below as well. Still 30% off and a 30-day free trial over there if you want to take advantage of that. Dylan, my friend, thank you very much. Again, unbelievable season you're having so far. Really hope that we can have you back on later in the season when you might even be doing better. It's crazy to think, but you could be.
Imagine. Yeah, thank you for Fancy Football Hub for having me on, and thank you for hosting me, I suppose. So I really appreciate it, and thank you to absolutely everyone that's been supporting me as well. So it doesn't go unnoticed, and that's it.
Nice one, mate. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.